Arizona basketball gets another immense win and is now 5-0 in the Big 12. What does this mean going forward?
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we have got a lot to get to this show. We are going to talk about Arizona basketball, and the fact they are now 5-0 in the Big 12. This is a huge one. Now, I know it's a little frustrating for sure that Arizona just gives up these leads and just kind of whizzes them away, and you get down to 6, you get down to 8, you get down, but that's just going to be what this team does. At the end of the day, the thing that matters is, are you winning basketball games? And you are winning basketball games. That is a huge part of all of this. And a massive reason why you are winning basketball games is Henry Vassar. Henry Vassar has been absolutely a game changer. And I think we are at the point now with Henry Vassar where you have to start wondering, is this guy really an NBA prospect? He comes in and he changes everything out on the court. And I think that's just what's something that is very exciting about all of this is that he does. He blocks shots. He's shooting threes. Not only is he block shots and he's shooting threes, he's also doing a bunch of different things out there. He's running the court. He's doing just stuff that he's doing Henry Vassar stuff. And that's something that I got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of credit for. I didn't know that Henry Vassar had that in his game. That's why Tommy Lloyd is smarter than me. That's why Tommy Lloyd knows more. And that's why Tommy Lloyd is coaching college basketball. And I am not. But watching Henry, though, every single game, he comes in, he's dunking the ball, he's shooting threes, he's running the court. He just gives Arizona a margin for error that they just did not have with, with Mo Crevis, with whoever the case may be. It's just been a total. It's just been incredibly impressive to watch, and I think that is a big part of all of this. And so, all right now. Where is this at going forward then? And I think the big thing that you also got to put in all of this too is that Arizona is matching up well with a lot of different teams. And not only is Arizona matching up different with a lot of different teams, you've also got to put it to an extent too where you're like, all right, is Arizona now at the point where you can start saying, okay, if you win a certain amount of games, are you really in a position now where you can be like, okay, you're now looking at something where you're like, maybe we could run off something here. Maybe you could get to 8-0 with Iowa State coming to town. That's where I think it's at. So we will find that out. But overall, though, this was a massive win. Another guy that keeps showing up, too, is ADO. ADO, our guy. Now, again, ADO is not an All-American by any means, and he's probably a fringe starter, but he spaces the court. The spacers, they should like that. And not only does he space the court, he's also confident in what he thinks that next shot is going in, and that is what is so cool about all of that. And that's where I think we're kind of at, though, with this. Both those guys have been absolutely fantastic, and not only have they been fantastic, they've been the guys that I think you look at and you're like, all right, this doesn't feel like a fluke. And I think that's why Arizona fans should feel very, very excited about where we are at this stage of the game, because there is that. Now, again, there are some warning signs for sure we're going to get to here in a second. Also, KJ Lewis playing great basketball. KJ Lewis has been fantastic. He's getting assists, and this is what we talked about before. He is getting assists. He's doing a lot of different things. Not only is he doing a lot of different things, he is showing, I think, people that, as that kind of secondary player, as that player that, can do just a little bit of everything out there, he's good. He's really good, and I think that's what's exciting about watching him is that he is a He's a player that you watch him and you're like, all right, you should be able to do this pretty much every single game. And he can. He's pretty much been doing it every single game of late. He has been fantastic. And a player that, if he plays like this, he is going to find a role in the NBA. Not only is he going to find a role in the NBA, he could be in there for a long time because he's athletic, he's strong, he can do a lot of different things. It's just exciting to watch him and exciting to watch how he's really, how this is all played out for him because he's a good kid. And I think he was just trying to do some things that he couldn't really do. He's figuring out now, what exactly he can and what he can't do. And he's just doing a really, really good job at all of this. Okay, now we are going to talk a little bit about what this means then for Arizona going forward, because there are some question marks. And there are some significant question marks on what you do. But before we get into any of that, WayFair, my friends, WayFair. All right, here's the deal with WayFair. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into my routine, probably like you as well. Whether you're tidying up, clearing out, or just changing, or just want to give a new space a new look to start the year, WayFair has everything you need, all within your budget. Get the home refreshed the way it needs with WayFair. Head to wayfair.com. That's wayfair.com. Every style, every home. Again, this site makes it very easy to navigate. That's what's cool about WayFair. Get your home the refresh it needs at wayfair.com. Another one of these ones, you are going to thank me later. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, and that would be Caleb Love. Listen, I like Caleb Love. Everybody knows that. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Caleb Love, but he's playing terribly right now. Defensively, he's not giving up, so that is obviously a very good thing. But I think with Caleb Love, though, just nothing looks good. Even the three-pointer that went in, it was banked. The runners are not going in. The floaters are not going in. It just doesn't look good. And there was also the play, too, where he just basically let the ball get thrown over his head, and it went back the other way for a dunk. Those can't happen. Just can't happen. And I can deal with you missing shots. I can't deal with you not, how do I put this? I can't deal with you not trying hard, and that to me is the concern. And not only is that a little bit of the concern, we're kind of at the point now too where I think you're like, all right, this is just going to be something that is going to be an issue pretty much all season. Arizona, he's not going to string together 6 straight games. And not only is he not going to get together 6 straight games, he's pretty much kind of at the point where you got to figure out how are we going to win without him if he doesn't play well, because there's going to be times when he just doesn't play well. And they've figured out, they've shown ways that they can do that. And I think that's a good part about all of this, is they've shown ways that they can do that. But at the same time, I think you also know that this isn't the way that it's supposed to look. I mean, Arizona needed him to be a fringe All-American this year, and he has not been that fringe All-American. He has been somebody that has just not been very good. Outside of like a 3 or 4 game stretch, he's been bad, and he's looked kind of disengaged at times. If he's not playing well, then Arizona is not going to go far. This team is built on him being a really good player, and if there's games where he doesn't step up, other players can step up for him, but he's got to step up, and he's got to be a good player, because if he doesn't step up and he's not a good player, then Arizona's in a lot of trouble. It's really that simple. For all the people that are like, oh, Josan Sanon, he's not even playing, don't want to hear about that. But Arizona has found ways to be able to kind of cover some of this up. And I think that's at least an exciting part about that is last year, if Caleb Love didn't play well, Arizona probably wasn't winning. This year, you're finding out, you're at least seeing that, they've found other ways to win with Caleb Love. And not playing well, and you hope that can continue. Now, you're going on to Texas Tech. That's going to be a brutal game because Texas Tech's really good, obviously. They almost beat Iowa State at home. It's a game that Arizona needs. It's a game that Arizona 1,000% needs. Not only do they need to win that game, they also, then you got after that you got Oklahoma State, and then you got Oklahoma State, then you got Colorado. I think the goal in all of this should be can you get to be 8-0? Or 7-1 at the worst case scenario. If you can be 7-1 at the worst case scenario, then I think you feel pretty good about things. But can't be 6-2. You got to get greedy now. You got to get greedy, and you got to be able to get a couple of these wins. Oklahoma State's not very good. You need to be able to get that victory. Hopefully, this is a game where Caleb Love can reemerge and show what he can do. We will see. I don't know, but I think we're obviously certainly hopeful that he can do that. Now, we're going to talk about one thing that is a little bit frustrating and what's next for Arizona. But first, Rocket Money, my friends. Rocket Money. All right, here's the deal with Rocket Money. Rocket Money, it can help you save a lot of money. Okay, did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about that you were paying for twice? Definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. All right, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Everybody's got a bunch of stuff in their inventory where they're like, what the heck is this? I didn't want this. And it's annoying. You do not want to have to deal with that. Rocket Money hears your pain. They have heard your cries, and they have decided that they are here to help you. So with Rocket Money, again, check it out. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now let's talk a little bit about where Arizona is when it comes to giving up leads. That's just going to be something they do. It's just going to be something they do. It's not a good enough team to where they can just they can basically just kind of push you around and beat you. That's just not the way that they are. That's not the way that the team is built. And that's just going to be the way it is. It's going to be a little bit of an up and down affair. Just kind of the way it is. So there is that. But they've also shown that they can hold on to leads. They've also shown to a certain extent that they can hold on to leads. And not only can they hold on to leads, they can also have it's also a situation where you're like, all right. Arizona's pushing this one, and you're getting different contributions from different players. The Twins are playing better. Carter Bryant, obviously, love Carter Bryant. Jaden Bradley, every single game what Jaden Bradley is going to give you. That part's exciting as well. But the big thing is you just got to continue to push it. You've just got to continue to get better and better and better. And listen, if you can go into Texas Tech and beat Texas Tech, and then you're 6-0 on the season, all of a sudden things get very fascinating, because then you've got Oklahoma State and you got Colorado. And if you're looking at possibly being 8-0 in conference play, then you can legitimately start talking about, man, can we win this conference? Because it doesn't become that far off at that point. So, but again, you got to be greedy at this point. You didn't give yourself much margin for error in the preseason. I think that's something that obviously Arizona is going to be kicking themselves for. But what is done is done. There's no other way around it. So you got to be able to make that up. But the big thing though is everybody's playing well, but you got to get Caleb Love playing well. If Caleb Love's not playing well, then Arizona's in deep doo-doo. And so you got to get Caleb Love playing well. And I'm hopeful that they can, because he's a good player. He is just not basketball is just not coming easy to him right now. And I think that's what part that is frustrating. And we're going to talk about how to get Caleb Love going again. This is probably going to be kind of a reoccurring thing all season, but it just kind of is what it is. We know what he's capable of, but we also know that he can really go into funks as well. But either way, Arizona's 5-0 in conference. That's really all that matters at this point. The Wildcats are playing good ball. Not only are they playing good ball, the pieces are starting to come around, and you got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of credit for this, because Tommy Lloyd he has done a great job, and We'll continue to see. But so far, Arizona is 5-0 in the Big 12, and things are looking up. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about Caleb Love, ways to get him going, and all kinds of good stuff. But as always, very much appreciate you all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke. Bear down, back the A. You have been listening to the postgame show.